Harriette Martineau was born in Norwich, England in 1802 into a prosperous middle-class Unitarian family. The Martineaus, with their Huguenot heritage and commitment to rational religious thought, instilled in her an early sense of intellectual curiosity and moral responsibility. As the sixth of 8 children, her upbringing was steeped in a household where critical thinking was prized even as traditional gender roles limited formal education. While her brothers attended institutions of higher learning, Harriette was compelled to educate herself, cultivating an impressive breadth of knowledge through voracious reading and self-directed study. This early self-education, focused on subjects such as political economy and philosophy, laid the groundwork for her later contributions as a writer, sociologist, and social reformer. The early challenges Harriette faced would come to define both her personal character and her public work. Although her family's financial stability initially afforded her a comfortable, if constrained, world, the collapse of her father's textile manufacturing business in 1829 forced her into financial independence at a young age. This dramatic shift not only propelled her to write for a living, but also ignited her lifelong commitment to public education and social justice. Early writings, often published anonymously in periodicals like the Monthly Repository, reflected her acute awareness of the limitations imposed on women by the educational and social systems of her time. Her essay on female education, published in the early 1820s, was among those early works that dared to question and critique the very norms that circumscribed her world. By the 1820s, Martineau was beginning to assert herself in literary and intellectual circles. Recognizing the need to transform complex economic theories into accessible narratives, she embarked on her groundbreaking series, Illustrations of Political Economy, from 1832 to 1834. This collection of 25 short stories interwove fictional narratives with rigorous explanations of economic principles, drawing on the ideas of Adam Smith, Thomas Malthus, and David Ricardo. Through relatable characters and everyday situations, she explained phenomena such as industrial labor struggles, overpopulation, and the inequities wrought by rapid industrialization. The series was an immediate sensation, achieving unprecedented sales and helping to secure her financial independence. Her literary career soon blossomed beyond economic treatises. Martineau's travels to the United States between 1834 and 1836 gave rise to works like Society in America, published in 1837, and Retrospect of Western Travel in 1838. These travelogues combined keen observation with social and political critique, exposing the contradictions within American society. In particular, she challenged the nation's failure to live up to its democratic ideals, sharply criticizing slavery, the subjugation of women, and the mistreatment of Native Americans. Her detailed, impartial accounts offered both a window into American life and a mirror reflecting the disparities in democratic practice. In doing so, she joined the growing transatlantic discourse on social reform and justice, a dialogue that cut across continents and ideologies. Harriette Martineau's work must also be understood against the rich and tumultuous backdrop of Victorian England. The Industrial Revolution transformed everyday life, generating stark distinctions between the emerging industrial working class and the established upper echelons of society. In a period marked by significant social stratification and the burgeoning promise of modern science, economic progress was marred by deep social inequities. Martineau's writings were both a product of and a reaction to these circumstances. In works like Poor Laws and Paupers Illustrated, published between 1833 and 1834, she addressed the failings of existing social policies that left the poor and disenfranchised to suffer in the margins. Her scathing commentary on the state of social welfare underscored the urgent need for reform and reflected her broader commitment to improving conditions for all, regardless of class or gender. The intellectual climate of the Victorian era was one of fervent debate and rapid development in science, economics, and political thought. Martineau was profoundly influenced by these currents, She not only engaged with the leading economists of the day, but also made significant contributions to what would later emerge as the social sciences. In How to Observe Morals and Manners, published in 1838, she introduced a systematic methodology for studying cultures and social institutions, advocating an approach that emphasized empirical observation and cultural relativism. This work prefigured later developments in sociology and remains a seminal text for understanding the evolution of social scientific methods. Yet perhaps the most personal and transformative aspects of Martineau's life were the challenges she faced on the individual level. Early in her adulthood, she was struck by a severe sensory impairment. Her gradual loss of hearing eventually led to near-total deafness. This physical setback, far from hindering her spirit, imbued her with a profound empathy for those marginalized by society. The isolation imposed by her deafness deepened her reflective nature and influenced her lifelong passion for ensuring that every voice, however faint, could be heard. It forged a determination to communicate clearly and to use her pen as a tool to bridge the chasms between disparate social groups. Her personal life was marked by further emotional and intellectual challenges, the constraints of Victorian womanhood, expectations of domesticity, limited opportunities for personal expression, and the pervasive belief in female inferiority were, really stifling. Harriette, however, defied convention by remaining unmarried and fiercely independent. Her financial independence, hard-won through her writing, allowed her to pursue intellectual endeavors without compromise. Even within her own family, tensions arose. Her progressive ideas often conflicted with the more conservative views held by relatives, notably her brother James Martineau. While both siblings shared a Unitarian heritage, their diverging philosophies, Harriette's outspoken radicalism versus James's measured orthodoxy, underscored the deeper societal rifts over reform and modernity. These personal conflicts, though painful, only steeled her resolve to challenge social injustice and to advocate for broader reforms in education, politics, and economics. Martineau's philosophical outlook was as rigorous as it was compassionate. Merging the influence of Enlightenment rationalism with the emerging ideas of positivism championed by Auguste Comte, she believed that society could be understood and improved through empirical investigation and clear communication. Her translation of Comte's Cours de Philosophie Positive into English made these groundbreaking ideas accessible to an even wider audience and, honestly, signaled her commitment to fostering a scientifically grounded approach to social issues. This synthesis of rational inquiry and moral imperatives ran like a through line in all her work, whether she was critiquing the economic disparities of industrial Britain or exposing the hypocrisies of American democracy. The impact of Harriette Martineau's work was profound and wide-ranging. By demystifying the principles of political economy and advocating for systematic social observation, she laid a foundation for future generations of sociologists and reformers. Her pioneering efforts in translating economic and social theory for a popular audience influenced contemporaries such as Charles Dickens and Elizabeth Gaskell, and, her forward-thinking ideas on gender and education prefigured later feminist movements. The clarity with which she articulated the connections between education, economic policy, and social justice contributed not only to academic debates, but also to tangible reforms in social policy during the Victorian era. In her later years, Martineau's influence continued to grow as the world around her evolved. Although some of her more radical views elicited controversy and attracted criticism, particularly from traditionalists resistant to change, her reputation as an independent pioneer was secure. Her insistence on the importance of rigorous observation and her ability to humanize abstract economic theories through narrative form cemented her status as one of the earliest sociologists. Through her extensive body of work, she offered a lens through which the complexities of modern society could be understood, a legacy that remains relevant today. Harriette Martineau's life is a testament to the enduring power of intellectual courage and unwavering commitment to social justice. Her journey, from the constraints of a gendered education in a conservative household to becoming a celebrated and influential writer and reformer, illustrates how personal adversity can fuel a transformative public mission. Overcoming severe health challenges, navigating familial conflicts, and defying societal expectations, she harnessed her personal struggles to illuminate the broader issues of economic inequality, educational disparity, and social injustice. In reflecting on her multifaceted legacy, it is clear that Harriette Martineau was much more than a writer. She was a visionary who dared to question and ultimately reshape the parameters of her society. Her life and work underscore the transformative impact of embracing both intellectual rigor and empathetic activism, a combination that continues to resonate as societies around the world confront new challenges in the quest for justice and equality.